Hi, this is the Fiery Joker, and I am joined here today by DRWolf and Silver Quill.
Greetings and good evening, everyone.
Yep, and we just got back from watching Ant-Man, and, well, we all have some things to say about it. Definitely an interesting film.
It had its highs and it had its lows, and it drew me in and then it made me scratch my head. So, kind of all over the place for me, but how about you, Silver?
Anthony C should really see this movie.
Yes! Okay, that's a really good way to put that.
It was a combination of silly and fun and really awesome visual effects. I can't say it's deep on drama, and I don't think people expect that from
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Yeah, you say that.
All the superhero names.
You say that, and pretty much any sense of drama goes out the window. And I think this movie is aware of it and wants to have fun with that.
Kinda. I can certainly agree. The special effects in this film really draw you into this tiny world that they create, and going all through all the nooks and crannies and through pipes and electrical systems, and every time I could see this world, the film drew me in.
Yes, it's I want to talk a little bit about the characters, because it does really have that signature, like, Marvel authenticity to it, sort of. It's like, you know how, like, ever since Iron Man, like, all of these characters have been a little more real. Like, they say things that people would say in normal conversations, and it just feels a lot more natural. Although, I will say for this one, it seems like several times they were trying to force that authenticity.
Well, I don't want to get into like super spoilers on this, but there are relationships that are very rushed.
Yes.
It's like
Absolutely.
at the start they seem like they're going to be the heart of the film, and then very quickly they're like, oh, that's done. Oh, that was nice. Kodak moment.
Unfortunate as that was. But, yeah, I don't think there were that many characters that really drew me in and made me feel invested into what they were going to overcome. A lot of their stories that built up towards their motivations seem like a lot of stories I've seen before. And there were some moments of comedy that made me laugh out loud and made me want to see more about what they were going to do with this next direction. And then the movie kind of just slows down for a while, and there really isn't much that makes me think, this is going to lead somewhere interesting, isn't it? And then all of a sudden it comes in with something that's really funny again, and then it slows down for a long while. And I don't know, I had highs and lows at least half a dozen times throughout that film. And it's really leaving me with mixed feelings about whether I consider it really good or just okay overall. What about you, Josh?
Well, I feel that it's a very clunky film, but I have a sort of strange appreciation for clunky films.
Yeah.
I really feel that those, like, clunky films that have, like, really good moments and, like, kind of sort of bad moments, those movies are really, really unique, and they give me such a really great experience. And sometimes those are often my favorite, like, or experiences, like films or video games or music. I really enjoyed myself here because it was such a unique experience, even though it felt like it was being directed by two guys, like two guys who were butting heads about the pacing of the film. That should it be that. It's like, should we focus more on the drama? Should we focus more on the humor? Should we focus more on explaining the powers? Should we focus more on the exposition? It really was all over the place, but it was still fascinating to watch.
Okay.
And it really is, every pro seems to have a con, but the net sum is still enjoyable and fun. So I want to stress that. Character-wise, I think, and I'm terrible with actor names, Michael Dorn? No?
Just say the guy who plays Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah, well, not Ant-Man. Hank Pym, former Ant-Man.
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, thank you.
Okay.
Michael Douglas's character, and I don't think it's a huge spoiler to say he's Hank Pym that's in the trailers.
Yeah.
He's probably the most interesting character, the one who enjoys the greatest diversity of emotion and backstory. But his role in the story ends as we near the climax. Fortunately, he still has some funny moments near the end. But the secondary characters are either going to have you laughing or make you shake your fist at the screen. Because I don't think there's a stereotype they missed.
I suppose that's one way to put it.
Now, I take it back. Someone speaking in an offensively broken English dialogue from Japan, maybe. They had the tact not to use that, but I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't. And I just watched these people, I thought, oh God, you're making me laugh, and yet on a certain level, I despise you.
Oh gosh.
But with the world of miniaturization, Honey, I Shrunk the Superhero, for a good chunk of the movie, I felt like they didn't do enough. I mean, Ant-Man is running through these to our perspective, enlarged worlds of the mundane. You can actually enjoy the appreciation. It's not until the final battle that you really see what they can do with that miniaturized world blown up to scale. And then cutting back to real world to say, hey, this looks epic, but here's how it looks from the outside.
Yeah. It's a ton of fun when they can use the special effects to their advantage. But like Silver said, there's huge chunks of the movie where you don't get to see any of that. And it's almost like you're waiting for them to take you back into this marvelous tiny world, because there's just those long stretches where it doesn't feel like they're accomplishing much of anything.
You said marvel.
Marvelous, yes, very marvelous.
See, he can pun.
He can pun. Unintentionally, these two pick it up without me realizing it.
And you want to do it on a subconscious level, Doctor.
I see.
Already our minds are becoming one.
I do want to talk more details about the film, but we'll probably get into spoiler territory later on. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss that's non-spoilery?
I think I'm in the camp that thinks that Ant-Man's powers are overpowered. I think a lot of people were concerned about how that Ant-Man wouldn't feel fair to be compared to the rest of the Avengers. I think he's right there alongside them with just how much utility he provides. Mm-hmm. He's a very utility superhero, and that I feel just gives him just such an edge on the team, and I can't wait to see how he does things in Civil War.
It'll be interesting for sure, depending on which side he ends up on.
I believe he's on Tony's side.
Okay then. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Anything else you want to add non-spoilery?
Non-spoilery. Okay. Once again, Marvel movies strive to build this narrative beyond the movie. There are mentions and shout-outs to other superheroes. Stay through the entire credit scene. I don't think that's a spoiler with Marvel movies anymore.
It's driving me batty now.
But it's one of those things where they try to fake you out. There's a scene halfway through the credits and apparently a scene at the very end. So, if you really need to use the bathroom, hurry back. But I will say there are some references that I was like, oh, hey, that's topical. And I won't get into it without spoilers, but just keep an ear open for the rest of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. Okay. I suppose at this point we should say to anyone who wants to see the movie without hearing what happens halfway and through the end of the film, we're about to get into spoiler territory, so this is your chance to turn off the video. But for anyone else, there's a lot more to discuss about this movie. I know I've got at least 3 topics I want to cover. And, but Josh, did you want to start with some...
Okay, well, Well, let's see. We're starting spoilers now? Okay.
Go right ahead, start
Okay,
spoilers.
well, I was supposed to say that the first thing that did bug me about the film was how they handled the... It's like, my mother died and you never told me. I thought that was so poorly handled. It was... It's like, he didn't tell her, he kept information from her for really no reason, and it's like, why didn't you tell me? I was trying to protect you. You do realize, dude, that by not telling her, you drove her away and made her want to put herself into danger, which was the opposite of what you wanted. That just dumb.
He's irked.
Right. It created a touching moment, and if they had properly built it up for better reasons, maybe it could have been more genuine and reached the audience in a better way, but I didn't really feel it. I was just waiting for them to overcome that moment so they could move on to whatever it is they were trying to build towards in the rest of the movie. It was unfortunate. They still tried to put it in there to try to add to the drama, and I suppose that goes back to you having this thought that maybe there were two directors that were butting heads on what was supposed to be more important and trying to cram in what they figured needed to be in the film, and it doesn't gel as well as it should.
That being said, there was one dramatic moment that I felt was incredibly potent.
Okay.
It was the moment where he was in the car and he calculates everything. He calculated how long it would take for him to be able to raise the amount of money to see his daughter again.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh, that was such a potent moment because you understand why he feels forced to turn to crime.
Yeah.
It really hit there. It makes you really understand. It's like, even though I'm a lawful good individual and I will keep saying that, it's just I feel so sorry for the guy.
For me, Scott, the new Ant-Man, the titular superhero. Man, he started off really interesting. I mean, they established the noble reasons for which he was arrested.
Yes.
I will say, the relationship with the daughter, oh my god. If you took all the sugar in the world, added a little extra saccharin for good measure, that's their relationship. It is so sugary and kind of one-dimensional. She's like, Daddy, I love you. I love you, honey. Okay, bye.
Okay.
So there's a lot of Kodak moments in this, and she's his motive, and I agree that is one of the more powerful scenes where he's realizing, and you get this impression, yeah, he's trying to do good, but no one will give him the chance. So the culture is forcing him into this all or nothing situation, and then he gets a second chance. But unfortunately, the moment he takes that second chance at life, his arc is over, and now it's just it's a heist movie. Josh,
it is a heist movie.
He whispered this to me. We have a superhero heist movie.
Yeah, I swear, when they were doing the water pipe scene, you could hear like the typical heist percussion.
I just kept expecting George Clooney to open the door. Just want you all to know, we're counting on you.
George Clooney?
Ocean's
Ocean's
11.
11.
For a moment, I thought you were quoting Leslie Nielsen.
I am, but I'm giving George Clooney the honor of quoting him.
Okay then. All right. Now, speaking of that action scene, when they were building up this heist, going through water pipes and going through server rooms, and the ants are going every which way they're supposed to go, they make it look epic, they make it sound epic, and they're making the characters really devoted to what they're doing.
I sense a butt.
I don't feel that invested in what's going on. I mean, there's some stakes that they're trying to establish here, and you know that something's going to happen if they don't get through this heist successfully. But it just didn't really draw me in like so many other movies have before.
Yeah, I think I know what the problem is. It's towards the beginning, they were talking about the Ant-Man technology, and he's like, and Hank Pym's like, oh no, it's so dangerous. We can't have these we can't have this. And it was like, okay, why? And then they showcase the yellow jacket technology. It's like, oh, and yeah, it looks like really cool technology. It looks like really useful technology. And he's like, oh no, we can't use this. Why? And then only then, like, in the last 2/3, do we get the explanation. Well, not really an explanation, more of a justification that, oh, he wants to sell to X Hydra.
New Hydra.
Right.
It's Hydra Next. It's Hydra Zero. No
I mean,
calories.
it's like that technology would have been useful. I mean, I don't know why the guy was just so adamant about not getting that out there. It just seemed seemed like silly to me.
The villain in this film, almost from the very first scene, I mean, holy cow, they have to cram this in, how evil he is. Why? Why was that so necessary?
I think there was only one scene where it worked. Only the one scene where it worked was in the bathroom.
Oh, ugh.
That was really all you needed.
Well, actually, that highlights one other thing that this movie can lose you on.
The lambs.
The Silence of the Lambs? Well, well, things are shown out of order for drama.
Oh yeah.
I mean, okay, you see them experimenting on the lambs, but that is after this guy has suffered this gruesome death. So the lambs, by contrast, is, I must experiment on something cute so that I can look really evil. Bring in lamb chop number 37.
And they actually lampshade this. It's what, shouldn't we be doing this on rats? It's like, yeah, shouldn't you be doing this on rats? No, because I am evil, twisting little mustache.
How can a guy completely bald and without any facial hair look like he should be wearing a top hat and twirling a handlebar? But and then his motivation. Here's one thing I don't understand. They said the particles were taking a strain on his brain.
Yes, I remember that.
He hasn't experimented on himself yet.
Yeah, he never did that.
What strain on his brain? Where did that come from? If it showed that they were experimenting on him over and over and over, maybe I could buy it a little bit, but why did they set that up and not show it?
Although, I notice we're all talking about the things that don't make sense, which there are many.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
but that's really all the problems with the movie. It's just what's bad about it is just that it just doesn't make sense at points.
That's at points, but also there is also the second tier characters, mainly the supportive crew, the stereotypes I mentioned. God,
The stereotype-mobile. Chimichanga.
is this what someone actually thinks is racial diversity?
They needed sidekicks. They felt like they needed sidekicks. I don't think they needed sidekicks, but someone somewhere felt we have to have these guys in there to help break up the monotony. And maybe they had a point with that, because there is a lot of monotony in this movie, but I still don't get why these characters were so necessary. I don't get it.
People like to go for the easy comedy, I guess, but
Yeah, well, hey, you say anything in a funny accent, people will laugh. And it made me laugh. It's like, yes, I was cracking up. The way the guy was talking was funny. But yes, I realize how incredibly lowbrow it is. It's just, I'm only laughing because of the way he's saying it.
we're acknowledging the lowbrow, and yet simultaneously we feel obliged to say, "Oh, come on, guys."
There were legitimate moments that actually made the entire audience laugh out loud.
Yes.
Really good moments. And when they come, they're so welcomed, because it breaks up so much of the monotony when it's just going for long stretches listening to these characters talk, and I still don't feel that invested in what they're talking about. I don't see that much development. I mean, 3 days. They said that this was going to happen in 3 days when they first introduced the suit to him. And he's going through all this planning of this heist, he's learning all these martial arts moves, he's learning how to use the suit and command the ants, and this is 3 days. What happened here?
I also think they thrusted the Ant-Man suit on. Hank Pym was a little bit of a jerk in how he and how he thrusts the suit on him. It's like, oh hey, I'm gonna subtly instead of just contacting him out of the blue and say, hey, I want to show you something, and this is gonna be really cool. It's like, oh no, I gotta pull like all of these little elaborate strings in order to get you to trick you to putting on the Ant-Man suit, and maybe you won't die. It's just I'm just gonna throw you into the lion's den and see if you come out alive. That might be good. What was going through this guy's mind?
I don't know if you've read the Hank Pym in the comics. The Hank Pym in the movie is saintly compared to the Hank Pym of the comic book continuity.
Okay.
Oh, he is. I mean, okay, maybe that's unfair because a comic. One of the things that spoils the movement because this wasn't like the canon comics. Yeah, these people were likable. I'm sorry, but Marvel's done some questionable things. Even more questionable lately. But I guess I can expand on the continuity. Because one of the best scenes is a fight with, of all things, the Falcon.
Yes, that was so great.
That's one thing this movie does really well. When Ant-Man fights, they really take advantage of the shrink and simultaneously grow powers. And they do talk about how, physics aside, they're saying you have tremendous strength in your compact size. But if you really are in sync with the suit, you can turn a fight to your advantage. So seeing him go against the Falcon, who's more experienced and a full-fledged Avenger now, is pretty fun to see. But then they also mention at the end, we got guys who jump far, we got guys who crawl on walls. It's like, he said it! He said it!
I love Deadpool.
That's right, chimichangas for all.
I will admit that when they showed Ant-Man was going to be infiltrating an Avengers building, I was really, really hoping that they would involve multiple characters. They involved one character, who I don't know all that well, but it was enough for a very fun scene, a very entertaining scene.
Very creative.
I felt invested in that section of the film because I wanted to see how it would play out. But it didn't take long after that to start saying, okay, what is this movie trying to do here? I'm trying to follow this. I'm trying to feel like I'm really wanting to see where it goes, but it's not grabbing me yet. I know I keep saying that, but...
Although one of the most unintentionally comical things about it is how they're afraid to show any actual harm to the ants. That might sound funny given the final battle. The Yellow Jacket is blasting ants, but they're always damaged off screen. There is a scene where he's passing under a toy train track bridge, and he has two ants trying to bite at him. Yellow Jacket lifts them up. You don't see them strike the bridge, but it's, heavily implied.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was intentional or not.
Well, here's a strange example. The head villain is fleeing with the Yellow Jacket suit, and he is being bitten in the neck by an ant. He takes it up, he's looking at it, the ant is clearly moving between his fingers. Most villains would get a sort of perverse pleasure from pressing. He flicks it away, so it's not harmed on screen. And I bring this up because I'm thinking of the movie Joe's Apartment, where they made a big deal that with all the scene with cockroaches of all creatures, they had to take extra special care to make sure they were not harmed in the making of this film.
What, were the bug rights activists
I don't know.
throw a hissy fit?
They had a bug in their shorts about something.
Okay.
Thank you. And so I was just thinking, are we so concerned about animal rights on any scale that even an ant, arguably one of the most, one of the least endangered species in the world.
It's like you can go to any store and pick up bug spray.
Yeah, and no one bats an eye as far as I know. But I may upset animal rights activists, but I'm just saying ants do not strike me as anyone that we would fear showing a bad guy step on one. But when I think about it, they're very careful to say no ants were harmed in the making of this movie.
There is something that I was thinking about when watching this film, and I could see it coming from a mile away, the way they set it up. But many weeks ago, you came out with a video talking about how Hollywood likes to glorify death. We don't prefer to talk about death, but we love to glorify death. And something in particular you focused on is how it doesn't mean so much to the hero until he loses something personal. And now, the example you came up with was in the first Avengers film, when Iron Man was coming up and talking about the one guy who had died, trying to stop Loki. In that film, it worked. It really, really worked. In Ant-Man, the moment he named this one flying ant, Antony, I was like, wait a second, are they really going to? And then, throughout the next 20 to 30 minutes, he calls this ant, thank you, Antony, you're doing a great job, Antony. Oh, that's wonderful, Antony. This is half a dozen times. I could see it coming from a mile away. They were trying to set up the fact that the hero is losing something personal from the villain, from a flying ant. And, of course, the villain fires a bullet, and this one flying ant named Antony, you see the wing falling in slow motion.
I know, that was
Why?
That's in the arms of an angel. It's just the amount of focus they put on it. It's like, look, Antony was not Hedwig. We don't care.
This is what I mean when I say I was not invested. I could tell exactly what they were trying to do and why they were trying to do it, but I was not invested one bit. I didn't care that the hero now had a personal grudge against the villain. What? Because of this? Now, later on, when his daughter gets involved, yeah, that makes more sense. I can understand more of a reason for him to give his all, but why did they set that up in the first place? Why did they need to glorify a death and give them this personal connection just because he names the ant and says the name half a dozen times over the course of half an hour?
Yeah, and I'm really sorry, Silver Quill, for all my commentary during the film, but it's just CinemaSins. It's like the CinemaSins voice and the dings were going in through my head throughout the entire movie.
Oh, we were trading glances at just. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. That being said, and I know we've been like overwhelmingly negative about this.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm so glad I watched this movie.
It has a energy to it. Much like Ant-Man charging up the barrel of a gun. You know the punch is coming, you can see the events, but Mike, you just want to watch him making that charge.
Yeah. And and the way this movie was made, it's like, there's so much potential for creativity, and it's like, some of it was realized in this movie.
No.
There was the amount of like shrinking and growing and shrinking, there's just so much versatility you can do with that, with an action scene, with that kind of power. And this movie, Ant-Man, it's making me super, super excited for future Avengers movies, because the amount of creativity that they can now inject into future action scenes, that just really makes me excited.
But the next mount, let's just be honest in our naming, we'll call the ant Old Yeller.
Wonderful.
Okay.
I
think I broke Josh.
Right. There were many moments that I was thoroughly enjoying myself. Many moments. I had to sit through many lulls, but I did laugh out loud and enjoy, and there were a lot of action scenes where I was loving the creativity, just like Josh said, and I loved the nods to continuity. I loved how they were going to connect with future films, or at least how I would hope they will. It's a fun Marvel film, but every time I was looking at the story and looking at the characters and the creativity and the imagination, I kept thinking back to Guardians of the Galaxy and how that film had so much more drawing me in and keeping me invested and enjoying every step of the way, that this film didn't even come close to measuring up. Not even close. It was fun to watch. I'm glad I saw it, but I I don't know if I can think of a reason why I'd want to watch it again, personally.
It's like if you're looking for something fun, if you're looking for something silly, if you're looking for a dumb popcorn flick to like spend an hour, spend a couple hours with your friends watching, go watch Ant-Man. If you're looking for something with story, if you're looking for something with drama, this is not it.
No.
CinemaSins is going to have a field day with this movie. Oh my gosh.
I think the reason I'd go see it again is that I've seen it with my friends, and now I want to take. I love to take my dad to see movies, and I think I might be watching him more to see him laugh.
Yeah, I do that too. It's like whenever I take people to watch movies, I like to watch them instead. Just okay, this scene is coming up. How's he gonna react?
Entertain me, father.
It's like people with the Red Wedding. It's like people who read the books, so like watching people watching the movie for the first time who haven't read the books, just like it's just so much fun.
Let me see you cry. But so it is a fun movie.
Go watch it, guys.
And on a certain level, I think it knows what it is, and it wants to just almost embrace it. Maybe that's the whole point of our second tier supporting knuckleheads.
Yeah.
They know, like, yeah, we know we're silly. We're gonna embrace it and dial it up as far as it can go.
Mm-hmm.
But Guardians of the Galaxy would definitely be something I'd watch multiple times for the movie itself. This is a movie I'll see again to watch friends and family react.
Because it's definitely a very unique movie. In spite of the cliches, in spite of the things that you see coming from a mile away, it's just got a certain uniqueness to it that's just you have to watch it. You have to see it. It's definitely an experience. I mean, it's not great. It's not fantastic, but we're all glad we watched it.
Hear, hear.
I actually enjoyed some of their reactions more than I enjoyed watching what was going on in film, because how many times you put your hand up to your mouth like, oh, holy cow, they're actually doing that kind of thing. Especially you, Josh. 3 people away and I could see you and hear your reactions.
I hope it didn't disturb anyone else.
I don't think so.
I think we're too busy having the same reaction.
It's like, ah! Yes, especially that bathroom scene. It's just, I actually felt a little nauseous after that. It was just so callous and so scary. Ugh.
Oh, there were actually 2 bathroom scenes. One comedic and the introduction to adventure. The other one, wow. I mean, that's where the villain probably has his greatest moment of villainy. Just how callously he does it. So the villain, when he just embraces, I'm the bad guy here, let me kill something, is when he tries to be a sympathetic villain. You're like, go back to killing things without remorse. You're good at that.
Yeah, last nitpick, he put on that yellow jacket suit way too fast.
Absolutely way too fast. He had like, what, 7 seconds?
No way. Just, no way.
Maybe he's got the Iron Man Instafold.
Okay, that's a legitimate idea, given the fact that
But
technology exists.
But they never showed that before. They never showed that before, so it just really hurt my suspension of disbelief.
Although there was that one line that they say early on in the movie, they compare the Ant-Man suit to Iron Man. And how, while Iron Man is a technological marvel of weaponry and repulsor flight, this changes the laws of the world. And in some ways is a more significant suit. Which, okay, it's the Ant-Man movie, you definitely want to make him sound like a big deal. I wonder if there's some devoted Iron Man fans who will be like, no, shenanigans.
And apparently this Ant-Man suit has been around for 40 years.
So they can...
So that much older technology and still claiming it to put Iron Man's suit to shame.
Well, it's more. I think it's more the principle behind the suit.
Yeah.
The comic book science, and to borrow Linkara, sometimes you just love comic book science for how it has no limits. You can achieve anything in these worlds.
Oh yeah, especially with that whole what was it? A 2001 Space Odyssey moment.
Oh yeah.
Really? I was thinking back on Interstellar. Well, it was started 2001 and shifted to Interstellar. And I'm like, ooh, where's the monolith robot? I love TARS.
Yeah, then it kind of went into like that SpongeBob episode. That one SpongeBob episode where Squidward went into the future.
I would not know such things.
Sorry, dude, I'm old.
You guys didn't watch SpongeBob?
We weren't children when SpongeBob came out. You have
S-
to understand this.
Says the My Little Pony reviewers.
Yes, I know. But you have to understand, when he says growing up, we were not children when that show came out.
Yeah, we were trying to prove we were adults.
Yeah, these both of those guys are like a decade older than I am.
A little more than that, but...
Okay, we're gonna have to sign off here because Josh is about to get a whooping.
Alright, so yeah, I'm the Fiery Joker.
I am Dr. Wolf.
I'm old.
He's old Quill.
You kid, get up on one.
Alright, and we hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you probably never again. We're probably not going to do this again for a while. Sorry.
We'll see.
Adios.